5 individuals to respectfully limit contact with in later life. It's often said, you are the average of your 5 closest friends. However, in later life, choosing the wrong companions can lead to more than loneliness. It can be detrimental to your well-being. Have you ever known someone wealthy who fell into poverty in their later years due to misplaced trust? Or someone once strong and independent who ended up lonely and filled with regret? This video explores 5 types of people to avoid as you age, even if they are family members. This practical advice comes from those who have lived through it. Watch until the end to avoid the costly mistakes many seniors regret. 1. The manipulator. Masquerading as a person in need. Manipulators often conceal their true intentions by feigning a need for your assistance or concern. They may initially request seemingly insignificant favors, such as transportation, household chores, or minor financial aid. These requests may appear inconsequential at first glance, easily dismissed as trivial matters, exploiting your kindness and patience. Such individuals are adept at exploiting your inherent goodness. If you have a history of supporting others, they will leverage this characteristic, subtly creating a sense of obligation. You may feel compelled to assist them, not out of genuine desire, but rather from a sense of responsibility or the belief that you are uniquely positioned to provide help, employing guilt as a tool. Manipulators skillfully employ guilt to ensure compliance. Refusal to assist may be met with accusations of callousness or selfishness. They may even attempt to frame you as the perpetrator of their distress, making you feel responsible for their perceived suffering or abandonment. This calculated use of guilt serves to maintain control and ensure continued compliance with their demands. Understanding these tactics is crucial in protecting yourself from manipulative individuals and maintaining healthy boundaries in your relationships. The negative impacts of manipulators. Emotional exhaustion. Over time, a manipulator's demands relentlessly escalate, leaving you feeling drained, stressed, and utterly exhausted. Your personal space diminishes as your time and energy are consumed by their needs, leaving little room for self-care and personal pursuits. Loss of freedom and independence. Manipulators often create a sense of obligation, making it feel impossible to refuse their requests. This erosion of autonomy restricts your ability to control your time and energy, leaving you feeling trapped in an unfair dynamic. One-sided relationships. The relationship becomes a one-way street. You constantly give, receiving little in return in terms of care, support, or respect. This imbalance fosters feelings of exploitation, leading to a sense of undervaluation and inner turmoil. Protecting yourself from manipulators. Identifying manipulative behaviors. The first step is recognizing manipulative tactics, such as persistent requests for help without empathy or attempts to induce guilt when you refuse. Addressing imbalances in the relationship requires prompt action. Establishing clear boundaries. Politely but firmly saying no is crucial. There's no need for lengthy explanations or justifications. Setting boundaries protects your time, energy, and emotional well-being. For example, a simple, "I'm sorry, I can't help you this time, but I hope you can find assistance elsewhere," is sufficient. Avoiding guilt. Manipulators often try to make you feel guilty for refusing their requests. Remember, prioritizing your mental health is not selfish. Protecting your peace of mind is paramount. Only when you feel comfortable and happy can you genuinely help others. Questioning the relationship. Reflect on whether this individual truly adds value to your life. If the relationship consistently leaves you stressed and exhausted, it may be time to reassess their role. Healthy relationships are reciprocal, not solely based on one-sided demands. Self-respect and self-love. Ultimately, protecting yourself from manipulators is an act of self-love. You don't need to please everyone, especially those who fail to appreciate your efforts. Prioritizing your well-being and setting healthy boundaries are essential for maintaining a fulfilling and balanced life. 2. The complacent individual. Individuals exhibiting self-importance often display the following characteristics. A pervasive sense of self-centeredness is a hallmark of this personality trait. They firmly believe their own importance surpasses that of others, demanding attention and admiration as their due. The feelings and needs of those around them are frequently disregarded, overshadowed by their singular focus on self. This self-absorption often manifests as a disregard for the perspectives and experiences of others. Condescension towards others is another common trait. They may criticize, judge, and belittle others to elevate their own perceived status. Sharing personal successes or joys may be met with derision or dismissal rather than genuine shared enthusiasm. This behavior stems from a deep-seated need to maintain a perceived superiority. A desire for control and manipulation is often present. They seek to dominate interactions, expecting others to conform to their wishes without consideration for mutual agreement or consent. Disagreement or non-compliance may elicit anger, disappointment, or the use of negative language to enforce their will. This controlling behavior reflects an underlying insecurity and need for validation. A pronounced need for praise, coupled with a reluctance to reciprocate, is also characteristic. While they readily accept and even crave compliments, they rarely offer genuine encouragement or affirmation to others. Achievements of others may be ignored or subtly minimized to preserve their self-proclaimed superior position. This imbalance highlights a lack of empathy and genuine connection. Finally, a notable lack of empathy is frequently observed. They struggle to genuinely connect with the emotions of others. When faced with the difficulties or requests for help from others, they may exhibit indifference or subtly redirect the conversation back to themselves. For example, a response to a shared hardship might be, "Oh, but you should hear about my own recent struggles. They were far more significant." This self-centered response underscores their inability to offer genuine support or understanding. Being around a narcissistic individual can negatively impact you in several significant ways. Firstly, it can significantly undermine your self-esteem. Their behavior may subtly or overtly communicate a sense of your inadequacy, making you feel less capable or worthy, even when this perception is entirely inaccurate. Over time, this constant exposure can erode your self-confidence and diminish your belief in your own abilities and value. Secondly, prolonged interaction with a narcissist can lead to considerable stress and mental fatigue. The constant need to navigate their desire for admiration and control can be incredibly draining. You may find yourself feeling perpetually pressured, depleted of positive energy, and walking on eggshells to avoid triggering their anger or misinterpretations. Conversations become fraught with anxiety, requiring careful consideration of every word spoken. Finally, a narcissistic personality often fosters feelings of neglect and insignificance in those around them. Their self-centered nature prioritizes their own needs and desires above all else, leaving you feeling unheard, undervalued, and ultimately unimportant. This can create a significant emotional distance within the relationship, leading to feelings of loneliness and isolation, even when in their physical presence. The lack of genuine empathy and reciprocal care leaves you feeling emotionally unsupported and disconnected. Early identification of narcissistic individuals. If someone consistently talks about themselves, disregards your feelings, and tends to belittle others, they may exhibit narcissistic traits. Observe their interactions with you and those around them to identify this pattern. Establishing clear boundaries. You are not obligated to tolerate someone who constantly criticizes, manipulates, or controls you. Set firm boundaries, such as, "I don't appreciate being compared or criticized in this way," or "I don't have time to listen to you criticize others all day." Refrain from attempting to change them. Narcissists rarely acknowledge their flaws and are generally unwilling to change. Instead of trying to make them understand the issue, focus on your own well-being and prevent them from negatively impacting your emotions. Avoid falling into the trap of flattery. They thrive on compliments, but you are under no obligation to provide them. If they attempt to manipulate you into offering praise, maintain a neutral stance and do not participate in their behavior. Limit interaction time. If possible, minimize the time you spend with narcissistic individuals, especially if they cause you stress and drain your positive energy. You have the right to choose the people in your life, particularly in later life when peace and happiness are paramount. Prioritizing self-care. Remember that maintaining healthy boundaries and protecting your emotional well-being is crucial. Engaging in activities that promote self-care, such as spending time in nature, pursuing hobbies, or connecting with supportive friends and family, can help you mitigate the negative effects of interacting with narcissistic individuals and build resilience. Seeking support. If you are struggling to manage interactions with a narcissistic person, consider seeking support from a therapist or counselor. They can provide guidance and strategies for navigating these challenging relationships and developing coping mechanisms. 3. The critic. Individuals exhibiting this personality type often display several key characteristics. Firstly, they possess a tendency to hyper-focus on flaws. No matter how well you perform a task, they can always find something to criticize or fault. Their attention is predominantly drawn to negative aspects, often overlooking effort and accomplishments. Secondly, they are characterized by a critical approach devoid of constructive solutions. Rather than assisting in problem solving, their interactions are primarily focused on judgment and negativity. Phrases like, "That's the wrong way to do it, who would do it that way?" are common, yet they rarely offer alternative approaches or solutions. Thirdly, they exhibit a strong sense of self-righteousness and inflexibility. They tend to be dogmatic, believing their methods are superior and dismissing the perspectives of others. When presented with differing opinions or arguments, they may summarily dismiss them without consideration or engagement. Fourthly, there's a tendency towards undermining the confidence of others. Some individuals who frequently criticize do so to elevate their own perceived status. They may employ language designed to belittle, implying inadequacy or lack of worth. Finally, a pervasive negativity and dissatisfaction are consistently present. Regardless of circumstances, they find reasons to complain. For instance, if you achieve success, instead of congratulating you, they might respond with dismissive comments such as, "That's nothing special," or "It was just luck, not skill." This persistent negativity creates a challenging interpersonal dynamic. Frequently interacting with a consistently critical individual can lead to several detrimental effects on your well-being. One significant consequence is the erosion of self-confidence. Constant criticism, even when unwarranted, can foster self-doubt and undermine your belief in your abilities. You may begin to question your competence, intelligence, or overall worth, even when objective evidence contradicts these negative self-perceptions. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy and insecurity, impacting your self-esteem and overall mental health. Furthermore, consistent exposure to criticism can generate significant stress and anxiety. The anticipation of negative judgment can create a climate of fear, making communication and self-expression challenging. You may become hesitant to share your opinions or ideas, fearing rejection or ridicule. This constant state of apprehension can negatively impact your emotional well-being, leading to feelings of discomfort and unease in social situations. Another serious consequence is the potential diminishment of motivation and positive energy. When your efforts are consistently met with criticism, regardless of their merit, it can be disheartening and demotivating. You may begin to question the value of striving for excellence, believing that your achievements will never be adequately recognized or appreciated. This can lead to feelings of apathy, frustration, and a general lack of direction. Finally, the pervasive negativity associated with a consistently critical person can significantly strain your relationships. This negativity can permeate your family life, friendships, and professional interactions. The constant barrage of criticism can create distance and resentment, leading to strained or broken relationships. You may find yourself withdrawing from the critical individual, leading to feelings of isolation and loneliness. It's crucial to recognize the impact of this behavior and to establish healthy boundaries to protect your mental and emotional well-being. Recognizing and understanding that the problem lies with them, not you. When someone consistently criticizes you, remember that it's their issue, not yours. Many critical individuals are expressing their own dissatisfaction with life, not a genuine assessment of your shortcomings. It's crucial to approach such situations with empathy, understanding that their negativity stems from internal struggles, avoiding the impact of criticism. Maintain self-confidence and don't let judgment sway you. When faced with criticism, consider a calm and measured response. Instead of reacting defensively, try asking, "Do you have a suggestion for a better approach?" This approach encourages constructive dialogue and can help the critic recognize the irrationality of their remarks. It also shifts the focus from personal attack to problem solving. Setting clear boundaries. If someone persistently criticizes you, assertively communicate your unwillingness to tolerate unproductive negativity. A direct yet polite statement such as, "I'm not comfortable with these kinds of comments, they aren't helpful," can effectively establish a boundary. This demonstrates self-respect and encourages the other person to reconsider their behavior. Remember, setting boundaries is not about being unkind. It's about protecting your emotional well-being. Selective information processing. Not all criticism warrants your attention. If it lacks constructive value, disregard it and prevent it from affecting your self-perception. Focus on the support and encouragement you receive from those who uplift you, rather than dwelling on negativity. Cultivating positive relationships and surrounding yourself with supportive individuals is vital for maintaining mental well-being. Limiting exposure. If possible, minimize your interactions with persistently negative individuals, especially if their presence drains your positive energy. You have the right to choose your companions and environment. Prioritize relationships that nurture your growth and happiness, and don't allow anyone to diminish your self-worth. Remember, protecting your emotional health is a priority. 4. The irresponsible. The irresponsible, or one who shirks responsibility, is an individual who consistently fails to acknowledge or accept accountability for their actions. This can manifest in various ways, including chronic procrastination, a tendency to blame others for their shortcomings, or a general avoidance of any responsibility whatsoever. Interacting with such a person can place a significant burden on those around them, often resulting in others having to shoulder the consequences of their actions. This can lead to considerable stress, fatigue, and a disruption of one's overall life balance. The following provides a detailed examination of this personality type and offers practical strategies for protecting oneself from their negative influence. We will explore the underlying causes of irresponsible behavior, common characteristics exhibited by irresponsible individuals, and effective methods for setting healthy boundaries and minimizing the impact of their actions on your well-being. Understanding the dynamics of these relationships is crucial for maintaining personal equilibrium and fostering healthier interactions. Irresponsible individuals often exhibit the following behaviors and attitudes. They avoid taking responsibility for their mistakes, seeking to evade accountability or blame others when problems arise. They tend to deflect blame, refusing to acknowledge their errors and instead attributing them to circumstances, others, or fate. For example, they might say, "I didn't succeed because I lacked opportunities," or "My failure is due to others sabotaging me." They frequently fail to keep promises, disappointing others due to their unreliability in both professional and personal contexts. They demonstrate a disregard for consequences, potentially squandering resources, neglecting future planning, or showing unconcern for the impact of their actions on others. For instance, they might borrow money without repaying it, or leave others to bear the consequences of their mistakes. They exhibit a dependence on others, readily accepting help without reciprocation. They may rely on family, friends, or partners to support their lives without making any effort themselves. Finally, they often make excuses to avoid tasks, claiming they will act later, lack time, or are incapable, even when they are perfectly able to complete the task. Having an irresponsible person in your life can lead to several significant challenges. For example, you may find yourself shouldering their responsibilities. If they fail to fulfill their obligations, you or someone else will have to deal with the consequences. This could involve paying bills they've neglected to avoid penalties. Furthermore, their unreliability can erode trust, not only in them but also in others. Repeated broken promises will inevitably damage your faith in their word. Dealing with such unreliability creates stress and fatigue. You'll constantly worry, anticipate problems, and end up managing everything yourself instead of being able to rely on them. Finally, their irresponsibility can negatively impact your work and finances. In a professional setting, this could mean project delays, failures, or damage to your reputation. If it's a family member, their financial irresponsibility may place undue strain on your own resources. Early identification of irresponsible individuals. Pay close attention to the telltale signs of irresponsibility, such as broken promises, a tendency to blame others, and avoidance of accountability. Upon recognizing these behaviors in someone, it's advisable to maintain a healthy distance and refrain from entrusting them with significant responsibilities. This proactive approach protects both your interests and theirs, preventing potential future complications. Preventing exploitation. It's crucial to avoid becoming a victim of an irresponsible individual's manipulative behavior. If someone consistently borrows money without repayment, it's essential to cease providing further financial assistance. Similarly, if they demonstrate a pattern of laziness or shirking responsibilities at work, avoid taking on their tasks. Enabling such behavior only reinforces their irresponsible habits. Establishing clear boundaries. Open and direct communication is key to setting healthy boundaries. Clearly articulate your limitations and unwillingness to assume responsibility for their actions. For instance, if they fail to complete an assigned task, allow them to face the consequences rather than intervening. This teaches them valuable lessons about accountability and self-reliance. Approaching promises with caution. Treat promises made by irresponsible individuals with a healthy dose of skepticism. Instead of accepting their words at face value, request concrete evidence of their commitment to action before placing your trust in them. This cautious approach minimizes the risk of disappointment and protects you from potential harm. The importance of saying no. Learning to assertively decline requests for assistance is a vital skill when dealing with irresponsible individuals. If you believe that providing help will only perpetuate their irresponsible behavior and prevent them from learning self-reliance, it's perfectly acceptable and often necessary to politely but firmly refuse their requests. You are not obligated to perpetually rectify their mistakes. Remember, setting boundaries is an act of self-preservation and promotes healthy relationships. 5. The ungrateful. Individuals we might term the ungrateful are those who consistently fail to appreciate the efforts and kindnesses extended to them. Regardless of the extent of assistance offered, their sense of entitlement remains unfulfilled. Such individuals may exploit the goodwill of others, making unreasonable demands and even abandoning those who have supported them in times of need. This behavior not only evokes feelings of betrayal, but can also significantly damage one's self-esteem. The ungrateful are characterized by a one-sided approach to relationships, perpetually focused on receiving without reciprocating generosity or consideration. Their actions often leave benefactors feeling disheartened and questioning the value of their altruism. Understanding the motivations behind ingratitude, while challenging, can help us to establish healthier boundaries and protect ourselves from the emotional toll of interacting with such individuals. It's important to remember that our capacity for kindness should not be diminished by the actions of those who fail to recognize or appreciate it. Individuals who demonstrate ingratitude often exhibit the following characteristics: a persistent dissatisfaction, regardless of the assistance provided. They may compare your efforts unfavorably to others, implying inadequacy. For instance, assisting a friend in finding employment may still result in complaints about the job's shortcomings and accusations of insufficient effort. A lack of appreciation of the assistance received. Help is taken for granted, with little to no expression of gratitude. Withdrawal of assistance may elicit anger or complaints about perceived changes in behavior. For example, repeated financial loans without repayment may lead to accusations of stinginess upon refusal of further assistance. Exploitation of kindness. Such individuals seek help only when needed, disappearing when the roles are reversed. Reciprocity is absent, despite the ability to provide assistance. For instance, a friend may request help during hardship but refuse minor assistance in return due to fabricated busyness. Frequent criticism instead of appreciation. Actions are met with criticism of omissions rather than acknowledgement of effort. Shortcomings are emphasized over contributions. For example, a gift may be met not with thanks, but with complaints about its cost or suitability. A failure to acknowledge contributions. Success is attributed solely to oneself, disregarding past assistance. Betrayal may occur once assistance is no longer required. For example, a mentee may forget their mentor's contributions upon achieving success. The negative impacts of interacting with ungrateful people. A lack of appreciation for your kindness can lead to disappointment, frustration, and a loss of faith in humanity. Dealing with ungrateful individuals often involves excessive demands, leaving you feeling drained and perpetually unsatisfied. When your generosity is met with betrayal, it can cause significant emotional pain, leaving you feeling hurt and let down. Furthermore, extending assistance to ungrateful people can result in wasted time, financial losses, and missed opportunities for personal growth. Early identification of ungrateful individuals. If someone displays signs of ingratitude, recognize it and maintain distance to avoid exploitation. It's crucial to protect yourself from those who consistently fail to appreciate your efforts. Limiting assistance. If you've offered help once and it wasn't acknowledged or valued, reconsider providing further assistance. Focus your generosity on individuals who demonstrate gratitude and respect, rather than those who take advantage of your kindness. This approach fosters healthier relationships and prevents emotional depletion. Learning to decline requests. When faced with persistent demands from someone who consistently fails to reciprocate, it's essential to politely but firmly decline. You are not obligated to assist those who show no appreciation for your time and effort. Setting boundaries is a vital aspect of self-preservation. Avoiding excessive expectations. It's unrealistic to expect everyone to express gratitude. Perform acts of kindness because they align with your values, not because you seek external validation. Intrinsic motivation is far more sustainable and fulfilling than relying on the approval of others. Prioritizing deserving individuals. Instead of investing time and energy in ungrateful individuals, focus your attention on those who genuinely value your presence and contributions. These relationships will enrich your life with mutual respect, support, and positive interactions. Cultivating such connections fosters a more fulfilling and rewarding social experience. Life is too short to be surrounded by negative, ungrateful, or manipulative people. Are you harboring any such individuals in your life? If so, it may be time to make a courageous decision to protect your well-being. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these 5 types of people worries you the most? Have you ever encountered someone like this? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful lessons from experienced individuals. Because sometimes, one right decision can change your entire life.